Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy. Sorry, I'm so happy to talk to you. So baby bullhorn. Let me exit. So, ooh, nope, sorry. No, I'm problem. Okay. Sorry, I'm tired. Yeah, I'm just watching nonsense. I'm sorry. I'm just watching nonsense. Everybody's like, I don't care. I'm like, this, I have to raise money again. She's innocent in a police ongoing investigation. Let's get into nonsense for 5 to 10 minutes and go over her life today. But you didn't call out. You do not have the right to insert yourself into a case or give out fake false information. Fake false information. Zoe. Let's go. I nonsense. Please go over to Nonsense channel to go sub up to others like I am. See, me almost agree on everything except Trump. I'm sorry. We disagree. But we can be adults. Not everybody has. Okay, here's Buddy Beaver, right?
And OSHA needs to be called. It's a tripping hazard.
84
The left one.
Year-old mother grandmother ripped out of her bed in the middle of the night, hasn't been seen or heard from since January 31st when her family dropped her off at her home after having games and dinner with them. And then, of course, by February 10th, we see a masked gunman on the outside of her house trying to disable the doorbell camera that was there. It's a Nest doorbell camera. And that doorbell camera was missing when law enforcement got there. Blood outside of the house, blood on the inside door from what we're hearing. Again, a lot of stuff coming from unknown sources. We reported breaking news last night.
Oh my God, Betty, stop the bullshit. We reported breaking news, you guys. It's not
factual. By Nancy Grace, we're going to get into that there was somebody detained, but not so fast because, of course, Chris Nanos, the sheriff that keeps on giving, is saying, nope, don't know what you're talking about. Kind of like what he said when we had the FBI going around, checking to the gun stores. Nope, don't know what you're talking about. Just like whenever we had Savannah Guthrie and her siblings doing the ransom and the FBI assisting them in the ransom, Chris Nana said, nope, that didn't happen. So, I'm just kind of a little curious because
Go nonsense. Go nonsense. Go. Oh, Hank. I hope that's Hank. Yeah.
Okay, never mind. He just laid back down. Hey. He's like sitting here staring at the computer. I'm like, okay, buddy.
Trust Nancy Grace, and I trust that when her producers and her investigators reach out to a law enforcement and they say we got somebody detained, I believe they got somebody detained, folks. I'm sorry, I just do. So before we jump in, I want to say.
So even though the sheriff, granted, you can feel how you want to about him. No, says no, that there is nobody in custody about Nancy Guthrie. Betty still wants to believe that it is. I mean, typical fucking Betty. Well, the sheriff said it's not true, so I'm going to say it is.
Hey, good morning to everybody. It is so good to be with you guys this beautiful Saturday.
Okay. She's not understand, Bay. Bay's a liar. She's a stalker and she's harassed people before. She rips family apart. Bay just lies she lies in a courtroom situation. But today she loves to talk about killing Chris and all that. No, ma'am. I'm not allowing that to happen. She stepped back her because she got caught stalking. Let's go.
Robert, sometimes I have you here. So welcome to things going on in this house. So if you're in the meaning to bring them as you can tell for a few days now, still relevant information, still some things that you guys need to know about both of those cases, and very sad, and you're still looking for information in the Atlanta case. So if you are from Atlanta, Georgia, which I know we do have a few people from that area, if you have any information, you could definitely help in this case. So thank you guys. Now we're going to move on to Nancy Guthrie. Nancy Guthrie, we don't have a whole lot. We have a little more to discuss in Lynette Hooker's case. So I'm going to wait until the end so we're not pressured for time or whatever the case may be. So in the case of Nancy Guthrie, we know that this 84-year-old grandmother was ripped out of her bed in the middle of the night by a masked gunman that you see observed above my head. And this person has not been yet identified. They are working right now. 5 different labs have...
That's a lie. No, there's no DNA. Shut the fuck up, babe.
Forensic material that they are working on trying to help uncover and learn about this assailant. CeCe Moore is waiting for the SNP profiles to come in. Whenever they have them, she'll be ready to go to run those leads down. But until that time comes, we don't have a whole lot to go on with the Nancy Guthrie case.
I don't know who CeCe Moore is.
Case, other than the fact that, the family is either, it's under fire. They're under fire for a variety of reasons. One, I think they're under fire because people still believe Tommaso or Annie had something to do with it. And it's sad, but yet they're not doing anything to move the needle. And so somebody had reached out.
Maybe Joe, like Chris and Katie, you don't have to be on goddamn social media 24/7 to sound like they do. It's nobody's business. This is not her case. It's not. It's just gonna be okay. See, unlike Seth, that wants to be on social media like he looks for his wife. He wants to make that current and make me. I thought he's missing son. Kate and Chris are not like that. Kate and Chris did look for the boy. He did put bricks roads. I mean, but he refuses to see the truth. So quick. Sorry about that.
To me and sent me an email and said, look, maybe this family has just...
And that's the thing. No, Kate and Chris have not moved on with life. Look, know them. See,
cases when we have a normal family that doesn't have the finances to deal with us, like even Lynette's daughter, that she's being able to go out. So this day and age on this channel, about the Chapin family. Not very much because, I knew they were...
You fucking bastard, Connor, and call them weak. Just because, you refuse to sit in the sadness. See, I like Seth. Chris and Kate doesn't have to be uncomer looking for their fucking son. They can do the outcomer. Unlike Seth, she's a snake in the grass. Not
victims, and I didn't want to be, condemning victims. I don't think that's fair.
Yeah, but in the past, he did it to the safety toy. How fucking dare you? Yes, you have.
But, you know, I do have that girl would probably never be able to go out to the Bahamas where her mom's missing from. Can you imagine that? Your mom's missing. So this day and age, we give people the opportunities to do things when they have no ability to do them for themselves. And I'm very, very happy to be a part of that, even though we were condemned so much, you know, for years for doing that. I think people are.
Because you're not in the wrong. You continue to be in the wrong. Let's not fucking... You haven't been right.
Starting to understand why. And, you know, it's just, it's sad, but we do see a lot of people that self-destruct. And it's why we try to do the things that we do, because it's just part of it, you know, especially with the children cases. It's very hard. Like, it's not normal for a mom like Katie Proudfoot just to be able to move on with.
She hasn't, dumbass. So stop it. Stop being a cunt. Sit back.
For life. It's not, that.
You don't know if she has or not. You don't communicate with them. You communicate with the demon itself.
It's not normal when you have a...
It's not normal to call fiction, though. It's not normal to be speaking to long life like you, Johnson, in the extra freaks. Like, what?
A child, you know, you usually self-destruct. But this is a little bit different. You know, this is...
She's not like you. She's not a rich person that abuses the law and bends it to her knees. You should have been arrested a long time ago. No, for us on you, 45, 48 arrests. Huh?
An adult. This is a elderly mother. You know, they were already preparing themselves.
You don't give a damn.
Is how fast are you going to destruct? Like, did them to actually be out in the field, because I think it would have been dangerous for them, especially not knowing who did this or why. But I think what we're missing here, sheriff is giving them, they're calling us. So what? Advise them of the law. You know, Annie and Tommaso had a...
Why? Why do y'all need to be out in front of that goddamn house? It's nobody's supposed to... You had the first month. First 3 or 4 weeks. Okay, but after that, it was coming the problem. Not the neighbors. The YouTubers, the pack, whoever's out there. You're becoming the problem. Why don't they have to listen to this?
Anything to do with anything. They were being nasty to them for no reason.
No, they've been out there since the first thing. They all need to go. You need to leave the house, leave everything alone, leave that fucking net over here alone.
At least from what I was seeing, right? And I understand people don't like being followed, or, you know, but at the end of the day, when somebody is driving and they happen to be noticing and somebody else is driving, they have a right to go in the same direction. They don't have a right to chase you down or get yourself, you know, injured. It doesn't need to be a Princess Diana thing, but, you know, people have a right to move around freely on their roads, and no other citizen has a right to stop them. Okay, we have a 14th Amendment here in the United States. That means these laws are to be applied equally. That means people out there in this community and in the foothills of Arizona, they don't get any special breaks. And yet this sheriff is giving them, they're calling us. So what? Advise them of the law. There's nothing you can do about it. Okay? If law enforcement, when they got these phone calls from their citizens and just put it out like that, then this calls would stop. Quit calling us. We can't do it. They're acting within their rights. If they step on your property or threaten you with your bodily injury, then we have something. Until that moment happens, if you're out there screaming at them, then you're the one harassing them, and we can arrest you. If law enforcement would just tell
shut up
these people that up front, a lot of this stuff would be resolved very easily, and we wouldn't have problems with the neighbors. But no, they want to kowtow to the neighbors and violate other people's rights because of their neighbor.
They're sick of this. That's their neighborhood. So if you don't like people in that neighborhood, you should go. You don't put up my trust.
No. No.
Yes.
We don't get to do that.
Put you in China.
We don't get to do that. This is America, okay? This is not a third world country, a dictatorship where we have haves and have-nots, even though you wouldn't know it in our federal political bracket, because they can pretty much commit murder and they're just fine getting away with it. But either way, this is what we have to deal with. So when it comes to Nancy Guthrie, what do we learn about her case? DNA, right? There's been DNA in here. We were kind of sold on, potentially it being one DNA profile or not one DNA profile.
Shut the fuck up. God, such a liar. She's lying. There's no DNA. No, I'll pass that side. She goes off.
You don't do any justice for yourself or for your missing loved one by shutting off communications with the person you think did it. The best strategy, in my opinion, this is for everybody, is to keep them talking. Record everything. The last thing you need to do is be cutting off communications with them. Lock them down. Okay? I know that you...
Don't try to do that.
We take all of their statements and we do our factual research.
You never do factual research. You don't know when to shut your mouth. You're wrong about yourself. Say it.
On it, and if it's bullcrap, it's bullcrap. And we will turn on you in a quickness, because now you just went from being a victim, a person that's hurting because of being a victim, or your loved one being a victim of a crime. Therefore, you're a victim by proxy, right? So you go from being victim by proxy to being an animal in our eyes. And we start turning up the heat, and we start putting you under the gun and under the microscope. And then when you pull back and you start showing your colors, you think social media, I went to social media for help and they didn't help me. Of course we didn't, because we didn't co-sign your bullshit.
No, I don't co-sign self-person, your person, everybody else. Coming up, lady. What have you done for Sebastian Walters? You haven't done nothing. Much of the house.
And that's what they want. They want us to co-sign, and we don't.
You co-sign self-praise, but his abuse on Sebastian, you co-sign everything that man, oh, it is so fucking disgusting.
Proudfoots wanted us to co-sign.
No! You never got nothing done. Stop your nonsense. You liar.
Didn't. And then they thought we were the worst people in the world.
Yo!
It's because the story didn't make sense. And you know what? At the end of the day, it's not a baffling story for the true crime community here on these social media platforms, because we see this every day.
No, you don't, honey. No, you do not. Knowing right from for the truth, Tennessee should stop harass and incite hate against them. Unless you have your bad habit.
Those sheriffs don't see it every day. Why? Because they're in the backwoods of Tennessee that has hardly any crime.
Oh, I saw my butt hurt today. You saw my butt hurt?
Crime. So when they have a mom that murders her son.
Okay, perfect. Did not murder her son. He's a piece of setback. Yeah, a setback. Yeah, classic consequence cow.
And they don't know how to identify that a mom murdered her son.
No, she did not.
And meanwhile, most of our cases are moms or dads murdering their kids. So guess what? We see the signs.
No, you don't. So.
Very clearly.
Wait, so that's defamation.
And we're trying to convince these yahoos, known as law enforcement, that...
Okay, here's the yahoo. The one that has brains, that knows every fact detail about the case. Some dumb YouTuber believes a photo's lies, refuses to do the factual footnote. You have no right to talk about this case.
They're wrong, and they're looking at us like,
no, you're wrong. You're wrong for spreading misinformation again.
Well, what kind of experience do you have?
None.
Well, we've been all over the country.
Doesn't matter. You don't have the experience.
Sir, we've seen the best of policing and the worst of it.
No, you haven't.
I don't know what you're talking about. Okay.
You're the problem, baby.
Hey, sir. Okay. And then when they realize we know everything that we're talking about, when they realize that we are
no, you're not wrong in the generals. You know, feeling like the job. I'm not get you for job interference and harassment against the rules. But it's about time you shut up. I mean, shut the fucking mouth and eyes. You can tell she's lying. Look at her eyes. You Mitchell can't.
Absolutely accurate on these things.
No, you're not.
Then they want to sit there and condemn us because we make them look like shit.
No, you make yourself like shit. You cause problems in cases. You don't help.
And they're too arrogant to stand out of their own way. Like Eric Craddock, he was young. He could have done a lot. He could have really embraced the help he was getting into helping him find out what happened to this boy, but he didn't want to.
You don't need a let your help. It's easy. Have you ever done? Because you haven't. Stop.
He ended up thinking it's a personal attack on him, which it became a personal attack on him because he's a freaking Yahoo.
You're the freaking Yahoo.
But if he would have just listened, if he would have just went a step further, started holding ththese parents' feet, to have done the forensics, have them signed to get to impound all their vehicles, get the cadaver.
Shut up. I mean, I know you're a big dog, but you don't need somebody like you who doesn't know to ask for the truth. You might just spin this narrative about cutting curves. You got no shit about them. You fucking bitch. Look at that bitch resting face. You liar.
Dogs out there do their blessed job.
They did.
We would be a lot further along, but the problem is they contaminated the inside of that house.
You got no to or because Seth, he didn't do diligence. He refused to listen to the truth. You moron.
Because they thought this child was missing.
He is, and he still is.
They didn't even take into consideration that this child was a homicide victim until days later.
You don't have evidence if it's a homicide. You moron.
Or could be a homicide victim. Anyways, let's get back.
It's not a homicide case. It will never be. Just because you learn it doesn't make it so.
On Nancy Guthrie, we got just a few things to go over here.
No.
Good. My grandmother called me 2 a.m. to talk politics and religion for 3 hours. Hi, fancy car, nice house. You should be able to have it all. So he drinks alcohol. He breaks out in punches, you know? So I mean, think about it. What kind of current you would need to be swept away? You would. We will find you. No, I'm just trying. Hooker watch. Okay, we're on the snuggle struggle hooker watch. But that's, I thought she was on land before we heard of the oar. But then the oar, the only thing I can think that would break the oar is like when you're trying to push something off, like say off the edge of your boat.
But you got none what the fuck are you talking about? So I'm going to end it, Joe. I know. I need to get back to my work. And I need to go. But have a great day. Bye. Ashley and Queen Bees. Bye.